Hey everybody, it's me, Jackie. I'm back again with another podcast of Alpha One COPD Tethered Together by Hope, and I'm here with Michelle. Michelle is in one of the online support groups that I'm in, and Michelle, I'll let you take it away and introduce yourself, and if you want to tell us a little about yourself and then share some of your story, go right ahead.
Okay, well, my name is Michelle, and I am an Alpha ZZ. I'm mostly liver affected, and just recently have started to become a little bit lung. I've lost some lung function. I mean, it's quite good. Kind of makes me still basically liver affected, but I've been decreasing, I guess, yearly in the lung function. I found out 3 years ago, I think April of 2020. Yeah, 2022 is when I found out. So I had thought that I needed to have my gallbladder out. All I knew was I was really super sick. And anything I did, I mean, I was always in pain, never felt good, had acid reflux every single day, was on medication. Up until that point, I think every cold and flu season, I would get a cold that would turn into bronchitis, that would then turn into pneumonia. I would lose my voice for a month at a time, sometimes two. My liver enzymes were always rather high. So that kind of like the liver enzymes started getting high in 2019. And so they were like, well, you really should go have an ultrasound. That was right before, everything happened. And then I was like, yeah, nope, not going to the doctor.
Right.
So not going. So I just, continued to live the lifestyle that I was living. I was never a drinker. I mean, I had an occasional glass of wine or a margarita or something like that. So that I couldn't understand, I didn't think that would have anything to do with my liver. And honestly, really, even the doctor thought it was my gallbladder, because at that point, my liver didn't show that it was affected. Just my liver enzymes were high, and they thought it was because of cholesterol medicine. So they took me off the cholesterol medicine, and basically my cholesterol just went higher, obviously. And I also weighed almost 300 pounds as well. So, I mean, I had a lot of comorbidities going on for me. I didn't smoke. I was around most of my life smokers. My parents smoked. My first husband smoked, and they all smoked in the house. Nobody smoked outside of the house. So, all of that happened in the world. It was 2021, and I still was not comfortable to go to the doctor. So I kind of just kept putting it off and kept putting it off. And I got sicker and sicker. And my husband is like, you really have to go to the doctor. And I was like, I will. I'll go. I promise I'll go. And then my father had passed away in November of 2021. And he passed away from pulmonary failure. And so quite a few years earlier, he had a pneumonia that put him on a ventilator for like 4 months. And he recovered from that, and he seemed to be okay. But then he got pneumonia, or he got some other things. I kind of believe that he was a ZZ.
Yeah.
Well,
Did he have COPD, or did he just have lung problems every once in a while, maybe when he got sick or anything? Do you know?
he always had lung problems. He was, he was a heavy smoker years ago, and then he did quit at some point. I think before he turned 50. Right before he turned 50 was when he got the pneumonia, aspirated, and then went on a ventilator for quite a few months. And then he also had, I'm going to booger it. I know I'm going to mess it up. I know I hear you say squirrel brain all the time. I call it liver brain. So
Yeah. I know me and my friend Deb, instead of saying like laugh out loud like everybody does, we always say LOO, lack of oxygen to the brain. That's our excuse, and we're sticking to it.
I love it.
All right.
I think it's RSD.
RSV.
Yes, he had that. And so he also had the same thing. He always acid reflux, always had, I feel like I was parallel to his issues. Now,
Yeah.
after he's passed away and I know what's wrong with me, and now I'm like, wow, that sounds just like what he had gone through. And he would walk miles every day.
Oh.
And if he couldn't walk, that was it. He would call us up and like, he's just miserable if it was raining outside or whatever, So, but anyway, he had passed away, and he lived in Florida, and my sister also lived in Florida. So we had planned to go for a celebration of life. And I promised my husband when we came back that I would go to the doctor. We stayed in Florida. I think we went for an entire month because I planned this great big elaborate vacation because I felt like I was going to die. Like I really knew something terrible was wrong with me and I just didn't know what. And so I have an older son who lives in Scotland. So I invited him and his husband over and my son-in-law. And then my son, I have a special needs son who is an adult that lives at home with me. And my husband, we all went to Florida and the three of us, we stayed, oh gosh, for a month. We started off in Myrtle Beach and worked our way all the way down to, I think, to Orlando. We didn't go, we went all the way to Orlando. And I promised, I said, okay, I'll go to the doctor when we get home. I sat down with my oldest son. He was getting ready to leave for Scotland. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel so hot. And I'm like, I really wanted to go on this vacation. I'm not sure what's going on. I just wanted to let you know. And, so he seemed really concerned because I usually never would talk about any of that stuff. Got home, celebrated my 55th birthday, and went to the doctor. And I got a call that said, well, I think we need to do a liver biopsy. And he's like, are you a drinker? You really have to stop drinking. And I said, I'm not a drinker. He says, yeah, it's okay. I mean, you could tell me and everything is confidential, but you have liver cirrhosis. And yeah, he says, we need to do the biopsy. And so I went in on what would have been my dad's birthday and I had the liver biopsy. So then about maybe a week later on a Friday afternoon, I got a phone call from the gastroenterologist and he's like, I have really, really bad news for you. And I was like, okay. And he said, yeah, you have this thing. It's called alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency. And I don't know what your level is, but I'm pretty sure that you're probably the worst level that you could be. And he said, you have a cirrhosis of your liver and there's no cure. So I don't know what to tell you. And I said to him, so how long do I have? And he said, about 5 years. And then I let him talk maybe a tiny little bit more. And he said, do you have any questions for me? And I said, do I need my gallbladder out? And he's like, did you hear what I told you? And I said, uh-huh. Do I need my gallbladder out? And then he said, well, yeah, that would probably be good. And then he's like, well, I'll send you over a diet. And if you have any questions, you can just call my office on Monday. And I hung up and I was just like, I have no idea what to do now. Okay. Just many things just went through my mind. Was like, why didn't I go to the doctor in 2019? Why did I put it off so long? And thinking that, oh, well, I did this to myself. This was just something I did to myself. And like I said, I have a 24-year-old son who lives with us and he will live with us forever. And then I went to Google because that was all. I couldn't reach the doctor on Friday. The first thing I did was I joined Weight Watchers, and because everything I read about cirrhosis, I didn't look up alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency. I looked up cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah.
Because to me, that was what he was telling me was you're going to die from that.
Yeah.
So I didn't look up. So I looked up cirrhosis of the liver and everything said, well, it's not that you can't fix it. On top of that, I had fatty liver and bridge fibrosis stenosis stage 3-4 is what I believe I am currently. I don't know if I am currently that. I know I do not have fatty liver anymore, but
probably losing that weight helped that. I know before when I lost weight that helped my fatty liver.
Yeah, so that I know from I know for sure that I don't have that anymore. So I joined Weight Watchers and I started walking around my community. I didn't walk very far the first day. And then I think I would go out every day, even in the winter. I would bundle up. I got base clothing. And then I literally stopped eating everything. Anything and everything that could be bad for your liver. Unfortunately, I also was pre-diabetic, so I was also not eating things that would be bad for that. It was kind of, I had a hard time because I found there are things for your liver that are not good if you have diabetes. There are things for diabetes that are not good for your liver. So that was the hardest part, was trying to just maneuver through that lifestyle change of what I could and couldn't eat. And did find a new hepatologist, by the way.
Good for
I
you.
never ever went back to the first doctor. The only time I plan on seeing him if he does not retire is at 5 days in 1 year, where I walk into the office and say hello.
Yes. Good. I hope you do that too. Just for a side note, real quick, well, I want you to know that I know lots of people who have cirrhosis and have lived many years. And my friend Deb, who's the co-leader with me, she has cirrhosis, and she's had it for 15 years. So I just want you to know that. So I feel like you are going to walk in there. And just a quick side note, doctors. I love the doctors that help us. I just love them. But I had a doctor when I was first diagnosed, and they said I had hepatitis, and the questions and the things that they go and they ask you, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I was just like so floored. And when I talked to one of the alpha girls, and they said, well, make sure they retest you, because a lot of alphas get a false positive for hepatitis. So that made me feel better, but I thought, well, yeah, that makes me feel better, but that probably won't be my case. So the first liver doctor they sent me to, and I told him that, and he's like, no, you have hepatitis. So after having to do all these questionnaires through the county and all this stuff that they ask you if you have hepatitis, they did all that blood work, and I did not have hepatitis.
Wow.
And they just sent me to a new liver doctor last year. Guess what doctor they sent me to? And I went there and I told them, after when I seen that it was him, I didn't recognize the name. It was a different office. I'm like, it started off bad, and I knew I was trying to tell myself in my mind, don't, just see what he has to say, da da da. And I did, and he just put me off in the wrong way again. I said, I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
kind of went off on him and said, years ago you told me I'd have hepatitis, and I don't. Sorry, I don't mean to. I'm sorry to get into your story, but that just reminded me of how, some doctors, they shouldn't say things that they say sometimes when they don't
Right, the
know.
bedside manner needs to work out a little bit. No, that's I mean, and that's interesting. I mean, it's like so many doctors, because they do not know a lot about alpha one, just don't even know how to treat you, don't know how to talk to you. But I found a new hepatologist, and the first thing he said to me was, let's forget about that 5 years right now, okay?
Yeah,
Um,
good for
and
him. Good.
and I mean, I've been with him ever since I was diagnosed. I never went back to the other doctor. And he he's funny because he will share his walking with me. He will share his lunches. He will tell me, this is what I ate for lunch today. I
Cool.
walked 2 miles today.
Cool.
And then, well, the only time we ever because he did send me to a nutritionist after I had lost about 100 pounds. He's like, yeah, I'm afraid that you're just going to keep losing weight. And because I would not even eat a potato. Like I wouldn't eat a potato. I wouldn't eat like just a simple, like even a pickle. Or I mean, there were so many things that, like, dumb weird things that I would not eat because I was scared that they would just destroy my liver. So he did send me to a nutritionist who made me do homework and told me I'd eat one thing that I normally wouldn't eat. And I still don't eat a lot of things. I mean, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, no, that's probably not a good idea.
For you.
Like red meat, I once a month maybe. And I make sure it counts. I make sure I don't try anything. I'm like, I'm not going to try anything new with red meat because I only get it once a month. I'm going to like it. So, it's going
Yeah.
to be something that I really like. So,
Good for you for being so, what's the word I'm looking for? Squirrel brain. I forget the word I'm looking for, but just so good about that. I
well,
need to get better. I did good for a while, and I need to get better again. I've been terrible here lately, and I need to get better. Eat my eating habits.
that was getting a phone call. I didn't know that you could still get a phone call while you're on a
Yeah.
video. I'm not going to tell you that I don't, like, every once in a while. I have this. I never liked ice cream before, and all of a sudden I absolutely love it. Like, I don't know what
You
happened,
know
but
what? That is my downfall. My mom, I remember not making fun of her, but thinking she had ice cream every night. I thought, Mom, I can't believe you have ice cream every night. And now I don't have ice cream every night, but every night I crave ice cream, and I don't know what it is. It's like, no wonder my mom ate ice cream every night.
must be an alpha thing.
Maybe. Yeah, right.
I think I found a new excuse for something.
Yes, right. I blame Alpha on everything. Yeah. Oh, it's because I have Alpha 1.
That's right. Just like when my face gets red spontaneously, that's an alpha thing.
Do
Sorry.
you? Yeah, mine too. Yes, like Croatia, I get it too.
Yeah, it's
One
terrible.
day it's clear, and then the next day it's red. Or if I touch it, or when I go to wash it, it's red. It gets
Yeah.
red.
Yeah, and all of these things, they just chalk them up all those years. Oh, you have rosacea, you have this, you have that. And then it's like, then you find out, well, I also have something else that, helps that along a bit. But
Yeah.
so it was about a year into my diagnosis that I actually found out about the Alpha One Foundation. I didn't know anything about it, and I really didn't
Wow.
look up. Didn't I went to an education day online, and I was like, "Whoo, mind blown! Oh my goodness! Like, what is this?" And
Yeah.
I think I told my story to trying to think. See, I have a liver brain. Yeah, Angela, that's who.
Yeah. Angela
See,
McBride.
it was the patients getting to know each other Zoom or something at one of the educations, and I told my story, and she took down my email, and the next thing she was sending me an email, and then they told me about the annual conference and how to get a specialist, and I registered for the research. And I just spent every moment just learning everything I could about it. Had my children tested. They're both MZs, which explains my oldest son has a lot of asthma,
Yeah.
and all my children were premature. So, and that I found out has a lot to do with Alpha 1 as well, which was interesting because one of my doctors actually asked me that. And they're like, oh, well, low birth weight and things like that. So when Kathy called me and then she set me up in the REACH program, because I'm not on augmentation, or I wasn't on augmentation at the time. And so I got put in the REACH program. And then I myself thought, wow, this Redwood study looks interesting. So I contacted Gainesville. That's where I chose, because I looked on the Alpha Find a Doctor, and
Yeah.
not very many adult liver doctors. And so there
Right.
was, Dr. Clark down there at the University of
Yeah.
Florida. And so I called and I spoke to them. And well, first I made an appointment to see her because I really wanted to see an alpha specialist. So she was the first actual alpha specialist that I saw for liver. Absolutely
Yeah.
love her. Then I said, well, you know what? I think I'm going to find out more about this study. So then I screened for the study. I made it in. So I've been in this study for my first year was this past June.
Oh, good.
My yearly anniversary is the same time as the annual conference.
Good.
It's easy to remember.
Yeah, that's good. So you can make it beforehand. And I seen that you were at the conference, and I was there. I mean, and I seen later, that you were at the conference. I'm like, oh darn! I wish I would have known or seen you.
I know. Yeah. It's so, I mean, there's so, I remember faces from last year because my first year was in 24,
Oh, you went last year too. Oh yeah.
and I went
Okay.
last
See, I
year.
could have seen you last year too.
Oh, yeah. See, well,
Yeah, I went
now
every
when we
year.
see each other again, we'll know each other.
Yes, good. That's good. Yeah, I'm good with faces. If I see you again, I usually remember names. I'm terrible with usually, but
Well,
faces I'm usually pretty good.
we traveled with our service dog the last 2 times. So we have a great big fluffy white golden doodle. You might have seen her.
Probably did. Yes, I remember that now. Yes, I do remember that now that you say that. Yeah.
So, because yeah,
Um, do you plan on going to California next year?
I'm hoping to, like, my annual anniversary on the study is the same time, and that's in Florida. And I'm really hoping that the dates are different, maybe a little bit, because this is my
Yeah.
liver biopsy visit on that particular.
Maybe they can change that your dates a little bit because I know with another study I'm in, I can go a couple of months before, a couple of months after,
I'm
like
hoping.
that. So you might be able to change that.
I'm hoping so. I know I when I got all the dates for next year, I kind of was like, oh no, no, that
No.
interferes with the conference. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, if it wasn't your liver biopsy, it would be easier to change, but that visit is a biopsy visit, so I'm not sure, but I'm praying
Yeah.
that it's because I really enjoy the conference. I think you
Yeah.
get
And I bet you if you told her that too, that she would make it probably happen.
yeah, because I get a lot out of it. I can't even imagine that is something. If I could tell anybody, go to the conference. It's the best. It's the best
Yeah.
thing you can. I mean, there's nowhere else where you can walk up to a doctor and they will sit and spend time with you and talk to you and answer your questions. And so that's one thing that I was really happy that I was able to attend it
I
last
feel
year
like it,
and this year.
yes, I feel like it's a family reunion every year when I go there and see all my friends. I mean, that's one good thing. I always said there's a long list of bad things you get from Alpha One, but there's a long list of good things also, and that's one of the good things I love is about having everybody seems like family after you meet them. You felt like you've known each other forever, and
Yeah.
It's a real great group of people.
And every year you meet even new people, and it's really nice. So yeah, so that is basically my story. And now, unfortunately, though, the last year I have had a decrease in lung function. It was I went to see a specialist, an alpha specialist in Hershey, because I am from Pennsylvania. So I chose to do the study in Florida. It's cold in Pennsylvania in the winter, so and
Yeah.
it was we traveled once a month. At that point, you had to go once a month for PFTs, so we did travel back and forth to Florida. My husband and I we figured out last year we put about 37,000 miles on our car,
Wow.
and I stayed in over 200 hotels.
Wow. Oh my
I
goodness.
had 200 hotel stays in the last year.
Wow. Goodness.
So, but it's worth it,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's why I know I don't have fatty liver, because they had when I was screening, I went from a 3-4 at home stenosis fibrosis to a 2-3,
Nice.
and
Great.
so the parts of the liver I can reverse with a lifestyle change. I've been able to reverse the cirrhosis. Obviously, no, but it's compensated, and I'm hoping I can keep it that way.
Good. Good.
And as far as the lungs, they wanted me to do augmentation therapy a year ago. My doctors have been like, "Well, you are a ZZ, and you should protect what you should do this now when you don't have so much damage that you can't reverse it." And I had mixed. I guess one doctor would say yes, another doctor would say no, and then the other doctor would say, yeah, you should. And then I also have rheumatoid and fibromyalgia, and so there's all sorts of pain that goes on, and so that doctor's like, yes, you should. It's been known to help with that, because the actual, since I have cirrhosis, I have to be very careful what medications I take as well.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I don't even take any kind of pain medicine. I just push through it, just because, well, let's face it, Tylenol does nothing.
No, it does not.
No. So,
I have both fibromyalgia and RA and OA as well. There was a time when I wasn't able to get out of bed by myself and couldn't even have the strength to do it. I didn't want to do meds, but I did. I ended up going on meds. Like I said, I changed my diet first and lost almost 50 pounds and did great for the longest time. But my mom was all crippled from arthritis. I mean, she couldn't open her hands and she had both her knee replacements. And I fought getting on medicine, and I finally am on medicine and can finally get out of bed and that. But if I didn't have to, if it wasn't for the crippling effect, which my
yeah.
arm is already crippled from not taking the medicine before. But I mean, I understand how you are too. I didn't want to, and I don't want to. As long as you didn't have to, yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you found, went to a new liver doctor though, and that you're finding all the information and stuff that you need and got in that study. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And they're the team of, I mean, I built my own team of doctors at home because I do live in the middle of nowhere. So I have to travel even to see my home doctors. And I built the team that I built, they are really good with listening to me, because a lot of them, like, I know I'm the only ZZ patient that they actually have ever had. So for me, I'm like their experiment, I guess.
Yeah, they're probably learning with you too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bring them back as much information as I can. I give them the information about getting their credits. So, I mean, I share just about everything with them. And then I also, for a while there, they had me getting blood work so much because I see so many different specialists for all of the different things. I finally was like, can y'all get like in a group chat or something and like kind of like
Right.
let me get it done once?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Um,
So were they able to do that for you, I hope?
Yes, now they all have a team. They talk together,
Good.
and I can see through the my chart when they're discussing me, because they, kind of it's in my messaging and stuff. So it's interesting to see them actually talk about me when they, I'm listening, I'm seeing, but I'm not actually there, but they're having conversations. So I know what's going on. And the last one was with the augmentation therapy, and they're all having a discussion, and they're thinking, yes, she's lost 18% lung function in a year. I wasn't able to dose at my last study visit because it fell below 10%. And they moved me over to the Alpha Net side and gave me a new coordinator. And so that's happening. And then now obviously it's all up to insurances and things like that. And so now I understand what everybody always talks about, because it's been
Right.
very frustrating, like to the point where it's not terribly frustrating for me because I mean, I know that my lung function I feel a lot of times that, okay, well, your lung function really isn't terrible. So you're taking this from somebody who probably their lung function might not be so great. And so
there's still enough for everybody.
that's
You
what
can still
I
do
deal
it.
with now is it mentally is like,
Did I
do
lose
you
you?
really, really need this? So I know. And that's what everybody says. And I'm like, but I'm like, oh my, I hear such stories of people who are not able to get it. And, it's
Yeah.
really, really hard. And yeah, so, but I have noticed, like I said, I used to walk 4 miles and now I'm lucky at 2 miles. I'm like, whew, okay, I'm done. I can't do it no more. And that's 2 miles. So, I mean, that's super.
Yeah. That's
But
great. That's great.
yeah. And I don't get up at
Keep,
6 o'clock in the morning to walk either. So,
yeah.
not
Oh,
like I
yeah.
used to religiously.
Yeah. That's good for you. Well, it's been so nice talking to you. I'm trying to think. I guess my question I kind of been asking everybody is there any advice you'd give to anybody who was just being diagnosed today and you were giving them advice? What would be, or some great tips that you'd have for them?
I would say to just try to be as positive as you can be because there is so much support everywhere. And like you said, we are all one great big family, and all you have to do is type in alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency and all of that information, the organization, the AlphaNet, the REACH program, the Facebook groups, they all pop up, and just reach out to people and stay as positive as you can. Also think about your lifestyle, and it's hard to make changes. For me, I just every time I wanted to do something that probably wouldn't have been a good idea, I would just say, well, if you do that, it's going to kill you. I mean, that for me, that's what worked, was the fear of actually that in a way it was not good bedside manner, but in a way it was a blessing because it made me really think, wow, okay, yeah, this is something. And just advocate for yourself, because like they said, an educated patient is an empowered patient. So just advocate and just keep advocating, and don't take no for an answer. If you have a question about something and somebody just can't give you that answer, find it, because you
Right.
can. Somebody will have that answer
Right.
for you.
Somebody has it. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Great
and
advice.
don't give up, because you know
Right.
what? There's going to be a cure someday, and we're going to
That's
find it.
right. That's right. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. It was so nice to meet you and talk
I,
to you in person. And I hope I'll get to see you next year at the conference.
I hope so too.
All right. Take
All right.
care. Thank you.
You
Bye bye.
too.